What up? Oh, my music stopped, I guess, when I switch over to this. How do I get this going again? I'll just switch to my coach here. All right. Okay. Y'all can hear the music, right? Let me know. Gotta keep me posted, chat. What up, Makarov? What's it going, man? Or gal? Probably man. I don't know. Shouldn't use gendered words. I'm gonna get canceled in the first 5 minutes of my stream. Barnabas, what up? You know what I gotta figure out is how to have like more responsive stream. Oh, this is cool. I'll automatically share all of your restream chat messages directly into Discord and from Discord to restream chat. I gotta set that up, then people can chat in Discord. Dorgan, what up? How's it going? Yeah, what are we doing today, folks? So I've kind of got two things in mind that I might want to do. Wait, somebody got to tell me you can hear music. I think maybe Dorgan was saying yes. I don't know, but let me know if the levels are good, that kind of thing. We got to keep the tunes going. If we're vibing, right? Right. So I've got two ideas for today. One is okay, we're not gonna vibe code anything, right? But one is I could vibe code a feature that we want for Ash. Oh, perfect. That's good. Thank Dorgan. So I could vibe code, again, something that we use for Ash, or we could actually just try out vibe coding like I don't know, an app, like a Phoenix app or something together. Which I'm open to kind of whatever. I'm curious what chat thinks. Like, do we have any opinions here? I want to figure out how to make my chat lag like not so bad. Like how to improve that. Let's see, is it like a setting? No, there's just nothing we can do about it. It is what it is. I guess what I could have is I could just have Twitch chat open at least, like on Twitch. Then maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll read chat from Twitch instead of from the chat window. Oh, well, we got people all over. Far too low volume. Hold on. Far too low volume. My voice or music? Because now I've got this agreement here, y'all. Okay. I'm gonna split screen YouTube chat and Twitch chat. Let me switch. Let me see my channel. That way I can see you guys like real time. Okay, but don't autoplay this. No, don't do that. Music sounded good a second ago. Now you can barely hear it. What the heck? Wild. All right. Well, I can turn it up. I'll turn it up here. Oh yeah, I see it. It's actually like it's like not coming through the same. Let me see. Well, let me. Yeah, okay, here. That might be a little too loud. I'm not sure. What do you think? We gotta cultivate a vibe before we can get started. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, that's YouTube. No, Twitch. Alright. Okay. How do I tell this? Like, I don't want the pop-up player. No, we normally get started a lot faster than this, but we gotta get it set up. Okay, that's better. All right, here we go. All right, chat. I still need assistance. I need Ass's dance. Are we working on? Are we gonna vibe code an app with Ash and Phoenix, or are we gonna vibe code a feature that would make Ash better? I know maybe it's a hard question. If you're an Ash user, maybe how do you know which one you want to pick? It's like I ask a question, I'll hear it back in 30 seconds because the internet is so delayed. Not the internet, but the stream, etc. It is what it is. I can live with it. I guess I don't know why I was thinking that opening chat on this would help. I'm just being dumb. I don't need this. I can close these videos because I have it coming through OBS. You guys like my background? That's all you're seeing is my Mac background. All right. Vibe coding and new Astridge. All right. Dorgan spoke first, so that's what's happening. I do. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how impressive this is. But the summary of the feature. I'm actually going to use a new tool. Also, I'm going to use OpenCode instead of Claude, which has pros and cons. There's some things I don't like, and some things that I do. I'm gonna plug myself in here so I can actually get notifications and stuff. Come on. Yeah, so it is actually pretty interesting. Like I've actually found LLMs to be like a lot worse at doing like the library level code in Ash. But I have been getting a little bit better about making that work. Oh, you know what? I gotta post this live I gotta post this in Discord. What am I thinking? How are people gonna know? General. Okay, there we go. Now we've summoned the Ash army now, right? We get like all 4 more people at least. All right. Let's get down to brass tacks. No, that's not right. Okay. All right, we're all cleared up. We're on main. So the feature that we want, and let's maybe just write this down a little bit. What we want is well, right now we want to support the following things for ash.action input. And which is we want to support an action lifecycle. For now, that would be only before action and after action hooks. We can add more hooks later. The same as queries and okay, let me no, don't do that. Okay. The same as queries and change types. And preparations implemented using a supports callback. Like validations as preparations will now support ash.action input in addition to ash.query. What else do we have? Oh yeah, and validations need to be supported as well. They already have a supports callback for ash.query and ash.changeset, which must be extended to ash.action input. Okay, so essentially like right now what you can do is like you can have a read action and you can say like, prepare and query. And you can do things like, ash.query.afterAction fn query or query results this, and then you could like, you know, you could like modify the results, for example. And if we extend this to generic actions, yeah, what up, guys? We don't have like action, you know, say hello. String to. All right, so we have this, and then we have our run function. And we might want to be able to say something like ash.query, or sorry, no, this would just be okay. You know, hello input.arguments.to. So we have now this generic action, but prepare in the action instead of run. Well, we want both. We want that's what we're supporting now is preparations and run function. So, but this will be ash.action input. And so like here, like this, you know, this would just be like result, you know, result would be hello to something like this. Oh, yeah, I can't write this file. Okay, so we've got this little feature. So now we can get started. Okay, so just to give a concept, I guess, of like what sort of the system here looks like, I have dot files that centralize my stuff, and I'm in the wrong place here. Okay. So in my dot files, I have like prompts, or I guess they're listed under commands. Like these are like Claude commands, and these are like workflows for how we build features. These are like, you know, examples of the documents that we use and that sort of thing. And fixes, how we perform tasks. So like tasks don't have associated documents with them because they're just like one-off things that I want it to do, like go create some seed data or something like that. And then we also have a reflection prompt. And I have these set up in such a way that I can use them with open code, which I'll show you here in a second, as well as Claude code. Let me actually post about this. Where's the open code AI? Is that the one? Twitter open code. Don't they have like a, maybe they don't have a Twitter account for it. I don't know. Look guys, I'm a streamer, y'all. Powerful, is this the one? Okay, this is the one. Okay. Alright, cool. So it's this thing. We're taking open code for a spin live. Right. So about that, I also have the files in Claude commands. But yes, I am symlinking them using my dot file system. So I have like a install. It's like some repo you can find. It's called like .bot or .files. I forget what it's called. But I have this install configuration that says like where to symlink config files from this repository. And so I actually have the Claude commands and the open code prompts are like linked from the same place. So now if I go in here, well, I can just do it. If I say, you know, open code. So in open code, they're done differently. They are modes. So I have like tab, like press tab to change from like different modes. Um, and in Claude, they are done via command. So I would say like feature or reflect. So, and I don't know, this will change, I'm sure, tomorrow because of how this stuff works. Maybe OpenCode is going to add, maybe OpenCode will add slash commands or something, right? So I don't really know. But the whole point for me is like, don't like, you want your stuff in markdown files because you can reuse those in many different ways. Even if you have to write a script that like goes and fetches the markdown and puts it, doesn't really matter. Like, this is why I like the terminal based stuff, is because you can like hack anything you want onto it versus like a GUI tool that did all this stuff. Yeah, so that's how I have it set up. And so now I'm gonna we're gonna use OpenCode. And we have invalid syntax. I don't know why it thinks that this is an Elixir buffer. It doesn't really matter, but so we're gonna take this prompt that we wrote here. And so OpenCode has this thing that's actually pretty interesting too that I don't really use much yet, but you can say, okay, so if I like open up OpenCode, I can say /editor, and it will open an edit, like open my like NeoVim like in this folder, which I think is pretty interesting. Although something about this isn't right. This is opening it in like the root directory, but that's like not where I am. So I don't know, but I still prefer to have like an a NeoVim thing set up. That is true. Yeah. With OpenCode, I can say like /models, and then I could, pick between a bunch of these other things, and which is really nice. So, and their UI, frankly, is just more aesthetic. It's more like, I think it's a more interesting product to use. And I like that. I think it's headed in a better direction, and I like the team that's building it. So I want, like, there's been a couple like workflow things that I've needed out of it that it hasn't had, but and there's one big thing that really bugs me, but I'm sure it'll get fixed. But overall, I found that OpenCode is quite good. And with the addition of modes, I now have my ability to like reuse my particular prompts, right? So this is one interesting challenge, is because we're working on my open source stuff, and I haven't decided if we want to have an agents.md file in these repositories. I just don't know yet. I don't know what the signal that sends is, and I don't want to encourage people to just start like vibe coding crap in my direction. So, we did the first step for this with Ash, which is like we created the policy, our new like AI policy that we've been working on. So like if I can pull it up, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. But we have Ash project /GitHub. So we have an AI policy now for Ash that just kind of, I think it's a pretty AI positive sentiment. It's like yeah, it ultimately, like, we're not saying like don't do it, we're not saying don't use LLMs, but yeah, oh yeah, I see what's going on. Sorry, my screens get screwed up when I open things on while I'm streaming. But anyway, this is step one. So I didn't want to add agents.md files without having an AI policy in place. Now we have it. And so let me just, maybe can I minimize this? Maybe I'll use it again. I don't know. All right. And I need to get my OBS chat back in place so I can see you guys. All right. So anyway, because of that, we don't actually have project specific agent.md things. That's less important though. So what I am going to do, at least temporarily for now, is I'm going to use usage rules. So we're going to install usage rules. And I might just leave this actually in place now that I think about it. I don't know. We'll decide. But I just posted an article about usage rules. Go read it. It's on my website, zachdaniel.dev. But it makes a huge difference in agents working with Elixir. And you'll see, like, okay, so it says, here's a suggested starting point to sync all usage rules. So I can say this, and it's going to sync usage rules to agents.md. So this is going to gather up from usage rules itself, which has built-in um, usage rules. One thing that sucks about working on Ash is the compile times are still pretty long. Um, but you can see it's going to point to igniter and reactor usage rules, which are dependencies of our app. And then it's going to inline the OTP guidelines from usage rules itself and the Elixir guidelines as well, which contains like common mistakes that LLMs make with Elixir, which is pretty important. And then it also includes this really important bit about searching documentation using the new mix task that we have, which is a pretty big deal. So we can now, what up, Mo? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is apparently common. I actually haven't seen it do this much, but I've heard from enough other people that their agents will do that. And Brian Cardarella on Twitter was saying that, like, it keeps trying to do returns, and so this is what rules are for, and this is part of what usage rules does for you. So yes, we can proceed with changes. Okay, so now what I can do is just start up OpenCode, and you'll actually see, like, now I can say things like, what is the signature for enum dot, like, what's like a weird enum? I mean, yeah, I'll go use intersperse. That's the example I used in my video. So, and what it should do is it's going to look up using the documentation search tool. I think it's doing it. I don't actually. Oh, I guess I'm still like learning how to use OpenCode, but I thought it would show me like the command that it ran. Is there like some verbose mode? Toggles tool details. Task search enum dot. It's not showing the actual bash command that it ran though, is it? I could have sworn it was like more that yeah, mix usage rules dot docs. Okay. Cool. So that did what we wanted to, and you can see like it's reading documentation now, like definitive documentation instead of like I don't know, just making shit up, because that's the alternative. And again, if there's one thing I can repeat to folks is, like, don't treat LLMs as like knowledge bases. LLMs are text transformers. It's your job to provide good context that they can use to like do the job that they need to do. Right. Yeah, that's a lot of reason why I added those usage rules tasks. Is like Tidewave is like such a game changer, but like I can't use it everywhere. And yeah, exactly. Libraries need that sort of thing. So yeah, very good point there, Chaz. That's like, it was kind of the main driver for that existing in the first place. So we are, okay, we're ready. Let me start a new session. So we have our prompt here, and we are going to switch to feature mode. And we're going to give it this prompt. So the if you look at the plan for this, we look at feature. So it's basically like there's got a lot of steps here, but like first it needs to do a bunch of research. So follows the research protocol, search for similar features in the code base, checking for existing patterns to follow, uses project eval if available, review any applicable existing usage rules for packages you'll be working with, right? Like all of this other stuff. And then it needs to figure out what the requirements are. And then it's going to create the feature plan document. And that is going to contain something that I can review, which is what are the requirements? What did it find while it researched? What documentation did it review? What existing patterns it found? The technical approach. These are very important things you want in the context. It's like a place for you to give feedback about things that it might do wrong, right? So this risks and mitigations is really important. And then the other thing is it's supposed to have questions for me. Like what might that I not know about that Zach would know about? Does results depend on the size of the LLM? I mean, it shouldn't. Like it's a deterministic tool. Like if you look at, if I do Okay, so I can just say mix usage. Well, not here actually. I can say like /dev/ mix usage rules .docs enum .intersperse, for example. Right, this will give me the docs. I can say, and now this is stuff. Also, I want to make it clear, this stuff is actually gonna at least like this stuff is gonna already exist in Elixir 1.20. So that'll be under mix hex.docs, right? And I have a PR up right now for the cross package search, which is this hex dot mix usage rules dot search docs, which, and I can do like this, and this will actually search on hex. Like it'll do a multi-package search across hex, right? So what that means, so we're gonna have this is all gonna, like, eventually, ideally, this will be available under mix hex.docs.search, for example, built into the stuff. So it's all good stuff. All right, here we go. We have a plan. Let's take a look. I'm going to ignore all this crap it said because all I really care about is the plan. Notes / oh, of course, I have git ignored the plan, which is actually really annoying, and I don't normally do that, but let me see. Notes. Okay. Let me delete these other ones because we're not going to. Okay, yeah. Okay. So we have this action input lifecycle. So this is really important, right? This is where we're going to this is important. Like, this is not vibe coding, right? We're going to review this and we're going to see if it's got the right idea and it's got the right context, right? So okay, so we're going to add before action and after action fields to the ash.action input struct. That's right. We're going to add lifecycle execution to ash.actions.action.run. That's correct. We're going to extend preparation to support ash.action input via supports callback, and extend validations to support action. Yep, same thing. And then we're going to add preparation and validation execution to the action input pipeline. That is correct. Then we will ensure proper error handling and validation state management. I don't really know what exactly it means here. Okay. And then comprehensive tests for all new functionality. Yes, that's very important. Okay. Documentation reviewed. Okay, it found the prior art that we talked about, the preparations and validations, query change set, so that's good. Oh, let me get back my screen. Okay. Existing patterns found, query lifecycle, change set lifecycle. Yep. That looks great. Technical approach, extending, yep, adding lifecycle functions. This makes sense. Similar to query change set. Extend preparation support. That's good. Extend validation support. Add pipeline execution. Yep, very similar. So risks and mitigations. This is really important, where we review, like, how do we feel about this. So breaking changes to existing action input API, right? This is very important. We can't change that API. Performance impact on action execution. No, it's fine. Complex interaction between hooks and validation. Follow established query change set patterns exactly. Sure, whatever. Inconsistent behavior across different action types are implemented with comprehensive tests. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, it has a checklist, which this is going to basically be the requirements, but it's a little different. It's saying, yeah, we'll add it, implement before action and after action, create, run before actions, run after actions. That's fair. Okay, here we go. Should the lifecycle execution order match query change set exactly? Okay. Yes. I think, is it supposed to be 30? How many dashes? It doesn't really, who cares? It's gonna figure it out. Okay. Are there any specific preparations or validation modules that should not support action input? Unsure. for now, don't, for now, create a testing one to use inside your test. Actually, no. For now, only support it for the function preparation and validation. And then we will review individual modules to see what we supported. See, this is the only problem I have with vibe coding. It's fucking boring, y'all. Like, okay. Should action input support the same only when valid and where conditions as query preparation and validations? Yes. Any specific error handling or context requirements for action input that differ from query change set? Not that I know of. Okay, so there is. Do we have? Let me. This is a great place where you can help guide the LLM's behavior, which is in this risk and mitigation category. You can add like the things you think it might do wrong, which I think is really useful. Some like loud ass truck backing up outside. Okay. So, are there any particular things I think it might get wrong? Oh yeah, here we go. So how do I delete until the next pipe in Vim? This is like basic Vim motions, but I'm kind of like a little. Oh, CT. Okay, thank you. Who needs LLMs when I have chat, right? Same thing. Okay. We have okay. There's CT and DT are like, yeah, depending on what you want to do. I got you. All right. There we go. So the risk is transaction semantics must be the same. Before action and after action happen inside. Actually, let me just get rid of this. Before action and after action have to be in the same transaction. If we are starting a transaction. Okay, so we have a plan, right? So what I think is really interesting is like one of the best ways to like actually succeed with LLMs with this stuff is to like this has been a useful exercise, and even if it like screws up the next step somehow like so badly, like I have something as a result of this. Like this is a high quality plan. This is not the sort of thing I ever would have handwritten in the same way. And like maybe some of it's unnecessary, as I have it here to prime the context for the next run, but that's fine. Okay, so now we're gonna say read the feature note again, as I've addressed your comments and added a risk and other comments. I've addressed your questions, but it doesn't matter. It's an LLM, it'll figure it out. So implementing the logic to actually run preparations, validations on action input during the execution, similar to how run. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Execution order, module support. Start with only function-based preparations and validations. Yep. Yes to that. Critical point before, after. Yeah, must be in the same transaction if one is started. No special requirements. Okay. Start with adding the struct fields and lifecycle functions. The plan is clear and addresses all important considerations you've raised. Oh, wow. Okay, no, I'm not going to say that. See, you got to be careful what you say to him. Yes. Please proceed. But now I guess we just like shoot the shit and talk. I don't know. I don't know how long this is gonna take, or if it's gonna do a good job. You know, we're gonna find out. I do like OpenCode's UI, like the way they show diffs and stuff like that, pretty nicely. Um, but you know, now I can go on Twitter while it works. What's going on Blue Sky? Anything interesting? Nope. What's up with Hacker News? Let's take a look. It's so annoying to move windows around on this big ass screen. Okay. So, what's on Hacker News? How I keep up with AI progress. I live this shit, dude. That's what happens. Do we have any Elixir stuff going on? Oops. Wait, that can't be. There can't be only this many things with Elixir in the title. What? Oh, it's just like a weird formatting. Why is it only showing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Okay, I guess maybe that's normal. I don't know. So, best runtime for building agentic workflows. Is this Mike Hostetler? No, this is somebody else. No, it's not. Okay, but I agree with the sentiment. AI assisted. Oh, you're talking about my article. I wasn't looking for this, but yeah, you know, go give me upvotes on Hacker News if you want. I don't know. I don't care. This is the article I wrote recently on. I say I don't care, but I actually love Hacker News upvotes, so you know, take it or leave it. This is an article about using usage rules and how that can like affect, like make it actually more tenable to use LLMs and kind of democratize context. So how do we think it's doing? Let's check in on it. I don't care what it said, honestly. Okay. Oh, it made an agents.md file. Oh no, that's my usage rules, right? Okay, so it's added before and after action. Added some type docs. That's nice. Yep. Lifecycle hooks. Before after action. Yep. Adds a before after action hook to the action input. Cool. Oh yeah, I didn't even realize I'm only using Sonnet. I don't know how it works. That's a good point, Chaz. It would be nice to have Opus work running instead of Sonnet. Oh, I gotta put my shit on Do Not Disturb. Do Not Disturb. Okay. Prepend. Okay, that's nice. We do want that. We have that for other things. Yep. After action hook. It's extending these patterns, which I like, is nice. We have in a lot of our docs, we have C also for other relevant stuff because people have trouble navigating. So we've added a bunch of like breadcrumbs. Like if you've gotten here, maybe you care about this other thing to help with like dealing with large docs. This doesn't need to be okay. So we're gonna get to the one thing that I don't like about OpenCode. By the way, I can't queue up a message for Claude to get to when I want it to. For reasons I don't know, it just doesn't work. They don't have that feature. But this run preparations and validations does not need to be a public function. So run preparations. So I'm just gonna save these for later. Not really my ideal way of working, but not the worst. What are we doing? Where are we at now? Yeah, after action, run preparations, validate. Okay, we're back here. It's like adding shit while I'm doing this. So do validation. Yep, it's gonna check the where. It's gonna double check that they're supported. This is a little bit like it's not really ideal that we're checking this like every single time, but we can make it faster later. We can cache or something. I mean, at like compile time. we've talked about that for a while. But honestly, like Elixir's fast, dude. People say it's not fast, but it's fast. It's wrong. Um, yeah, that's a good point. Don't get fooled by the uh the name. There's another open code. Mango Health is hiring. What's Mango Health do? Making a difference by improving the lives of our users' mental health. Okay, sorry, I gotta get distracted. What else we got going on here? So that's action input. So action is going to have, yeah, this is actually running the action. That makes sense. That's interesting. Oh yeah, that makes sense because it can never have been invalid before. I didn't actually think about that, but that makes sense. Oh shit! It does need to be a public. Man, the robots are smarter than me, guys. Derp. Okay, so if input.action.returns, yeah, so this is doing the existing logic. So we're going to call run function, and then we're going to run after actions. Interesting that it's making nil the result. I think that makes sense, but I'm wondering, should there be like a signal that it didn't return somehow? I don't think so. I think it's just not my problem. I think it'll be nil, and if you use one of these on an action that doesn't return something, it's kind of like up to you. One thing that would be cool also is if we could make generic actions do notifiers. It's a little bit complicated, but I think we could. The problem is that change sets wouldn't be change sets. There would be a change set or like data or these other fields that notifiers currently rely on, but that doesn't have to be a big deal. But I think generic actions having notifiers would be quite nice. It'd be a follow-up. I see there's like multiple if. Oh no, it's just. No, there's not. This is good. No, so that's actually really important. Notifiers don't use the transaction hooks because the whole point is that notifiers have this like magic property of being gathered up after the transaction is complete across all resources in every action. So it's actually really important that it doesn't happen in an after action hook. It has to happen like out of band in its own thing. So that yeah, we can't do it that way. I mean, well, human beings could add an after action hook if they wanted to do something after action, but you know, it's its own thing. Okay. Yep. So preparations now support query and action input. This isn't quite right. The type spec of this needs to change. Okay, so type specs of validation. I'm going to tell it to review the type specs of preparations and validations. And so they now accept more than queries. So we're gonna have to do that after the fact, but that's fine. Okay, so it's trying to write some tests. Let's take a look. These all look pretty reasonable. Validate input, the value must be greater than 10, yeah. Fair. Before action 2. Right. Oh yeah, it's doing these like manually, which is fine. That's actually a good, like this is kind of an escape hatch you don't typically use, where you manually add hooks outside of calling an action, but you can do that. So why open code? For me, it has a couple drawbacks, but currently I enjoy it more. Like I think it's like moving in a good direction that I like. And it's just really pretty. And they have a couple other like I think I like the way they show diffs a little bit better. Let me see, can I find a good one? Like they have this like split diffs that they show when they're making changes to files. Oh, there's like none in here. What? I think it's hiding them. Yeah. Yeah, so you get like these nice like split diff outputs, and then like it's like clever stuff. Like if I do this, gonna, well, it's supposed to oh god, what have I done? Did I bork it? No. Okay, there we go. It's supposed to be like responsive. Don't tell anybody that it didn't work. No, I'm just kidding. It's supposed to, if I do like, let's see, this, it's supposed to not do split diffs anymore. It seems like it just takes time to figure its life out. I don't know, whatever. I don't actually care enough to keep screwing with it. Okay, let's get rid of the details. No, you can like open code auth, like you can run this command and sign in with or with like your Claude Max or Pro or whatever. Oh, you're probably right. You're probably right. I've been thinking about switching to WesTerm because they have like the native multiplexing. Just because there's like a couple weird things in ZellaJ, and I don't want to learn tmugs just for the sessions. Like I don't want to do that. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. But tmux supposedly like avoids a lot of these problems. Maybe just because it's been around for 8 bajillion years. You're using ZellaJ inside WesTerm. Why would you do that though? Doesn't it have like built-in multiplexing to the terminal? Because like for me, it also like there's issues with like image kitty or kitty image protocol and other stuff like that where it like doesn't like display right. Y'all, like it's how do you be like an entertaining streamer when the whole stream is just like watching a robot say like shit that nobody cares about? Like reset the file. Okay. We may be in one of those situations where it's like losing its shit. I don't know. But overall, like, yeah, okay, it's just like starting over on the action input test, which is fine. I don't really care about that. Whatever. The code itself actually does look pretty good. So we'll see how it is. And remember, the tests are running. What? Oh, there we go. Remember, kids, don't be afraid to throw away when LLMs do shitty work. Just throw it away. Like, don't get precious about it. Okay. Why is it saying that? Oh, there's already an action input test. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't see, where's the test for like validations and preparations and stuff though? I don't see that at all. Saying it's complaining about the, oh yeah, no, it's got to fix that. It's got to add, oops. Got to add preparations and validations to this struct here. But I don't see it. How is it? How are all the tests passing? If, oh, that's, come on. Come on. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna stop it because that's some garb. That's not right. The action should have preparations. Oh wait, you know what? Hold on. I was looking at the wrong thing actually. It's not the action input that has preparations, it's the action struct. This should be the one, right? Is there not a F struct in here? Oh no, it's the wrong action. Oh, it's a generic action? No. Actions out action. That's not the one. Here it is. Yeah, see, this doesn't have preparations. Like, what the hell is it thinking? Should have preparations and validations field. so we can access it. It's just input that action dot preparations. Modify. What file is this? Ash resource actions action documents. What a ridiculous file path. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you get to the pointy end is when it kind of doesn't. I don't know. We're gonna see how well it closes the gap. And to be clear, I don't typically vibe code framework features. Like, if I'm gonna do like this level of LLM assistance, I will typically do it for like application side features, like using abstractions that we've already made, using components that exist, and all that sort of stuff. But I did this for stream, so it is what it is. LS, but with IOU ring. Sweet. For all those people who were just spending time waiting on LS to complete. Well, so that last feature though, I implemented the feature and then I vibe coded docs and tests. I didn't actually let the agent do that, right? GCP outage. Systems down. Ruh-roh. Okay, so let's see what did it do. This is where you read literally every single line of code that it produced. But I want to see if it actually fixed the other things first. I'm going to look at the test. So actually, we'll read all of the code, you know, like later after I check if it has tests for everything that we want it to have now. Yeah, see, this is bad. It only has the test for lifecycle tests. Like, I don't see a test in action input. Oh wait, is there a different test that is modified? Maybe just to make sure to see. No, it hasn't. I don't see a test for validations and preparations on generic actions. Please put some in the generic actions test and thoroughly test these new additions. We'll see. I do reserve the right to throw all this crap out at the end, because like I kind of have to be precious with Ash Framework core code, but well, oh, is it doing it? Sorry. Yeah, action and generic actions test. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think you could do it like one piece at a time. Yeah. Yeah, you'd want to be like, and like not, obviously not fuck with the test or anything like that, but there's, you know, possibly. Okay. Hold up. It's missing something. I'm gonna stop it. This is not right. This is wrong. Use. You can just use anonymous DSL, and it's to the right module. All right. See if it figures it out. I do bet it could make that easier, but you would have to be really methodical about it, that's all. See, a lot of times this happens. Leftover fragments from the modules they get like, I don't know. I've noticed like some of it's like strategic issues in the underlying tooling, the way that they actually modify code. Which, you know, maybe Claude does better. I'd have to try. I don't know. All right, figuring stuff out. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, these look good. Lookism. It's lookism. Prejudice or discrimination toward people who are considered to be physically unattractive. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Exposed MCP servers across the internet. Interesting. All servers were discovered were insecure and revealed their capabilities to anyone asking. Isn't that like literally what they're supposed to do? None of the servers were secure. Like, what do you mean? Like, did you hack and get data out of them, or why do you call them not secure? They're like servers. It's like your server's not secure because I was able to make a request to it and get your API schema. It's like that. That's what MCP servers are for. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. All right, y'all. It's been spinning for a while. Starting to get worried about it. Yeah. Checking if input valid is true to decide whether to continue, but I'm not actually returning an error when it's false. That should be fine. Yeah, I think it's starting to get a little. I think it's starting to get a little confused. Starting to get confuzzled. I'll let it keep spinning. I guess I don't know. I think I code better with my cap on. Yeah, all right. But my head's hot. Oh, I'll turn the fan on. Hold on. Yo, I was muted. This is a funny title. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but it's a funny title. Funny. Funny. You're at peak mic. Inspect ANSI control codes and escape sequences. ANSI.tools. That's fun. Useful. Seems helpful. I'm gonna bookmark this bad boy. Where's my fucking button for that? Do I need to like make the screen bigger? Wow, that's frustrating. Useful. What do I use for my dot files? Yes, that is. I forget what it's called. I think it's just called dotbot is the original thing that I got my thing from. Let me see. I don't know if it shows where I forked it from or no, but yeah, dotbot. So it's pretty cool. It has some like plugins too. It has like a brew file, and it has hey, it thinks it's done. Holy shit. It has like a brew file, like a cargo thing, and some other like nice sort of stuff like that, which is pretty cool. So if you actually like look at my dot files, see. Yeah, so what do we got? We got a bunch of stuff in here, but like it's nice because I can kind of organize these however I want. And then in my install.conf, I just say like what files get linked where. And like I have like a shell step that does some stuff, and a cargo install step, and like some other like nice little crap like that. It's fun. It's a useful tool. Okay, it thinks it's done. All right, show of hands, chat. Do we think it's done? Do we think it did a good job? Like, is the feature over? Okay, are we there? I gotta get some feedback here before I go. Before I go spelunking, do we think it did it? Is it like just job done? All right, Barnabas thinks it did pretty well, but maybe some details. This is cool. DuckDuckGo now lets you hide AI generated images in search results. Oh, how does it even know? Manually curated open source block lists. That's pretty fancy. That's pretty cool. I wonder if Kagi can do it. I'm using Kagi these days. I wonder if it can do the same thing. Yeah, we can do it. Okay. Downranking AI generated images. Oh, by default, the image search downranks images from websites with a high proportion of AI generated content. That's fun. AI image labeling system. I've just started using Kagi recently. Let's look for like cute cats. We're gonna get like a. What if I say cute AI generated cats? Is it gonna like annotate it on the thing? Nope. I see no such tags. I might need to like set up in settings or something to tell it to do that. Oh, AI images. Oh, none. Yeah, I mean, there's still some, but this is like a YouTube thumbnail, so I kind of get why I wouldn't necessarily know. Did that change anything? I think it did, but I'm like I'm like not good at whatever this puzzle game is. Yeah, so it got rid of some stuff. Say only AI generated. What a weird search to apply. Oh look, yeah, see these all have like it suspects that they're AI generated images. So I mean that's nice. Cool. I like that. I like knowing that. Fine. Okay. Hide clickbait from videos? What the hell? Scroll. Okay. I wanna save this also. Cool. Um all right. Let's find out. How do we think it's gonna do? So first things first, we're just gonna run tests. This like irks me more than nothing else is when they're like, we're done, and I run it like, come on. How are you gonna tell me you're done? No, I think I do it. I think I just say open code and I say /sessions. Stupid. What do I have? I like need to get rid of this reading list. Can I hide this? Yeah, I don't want this. Cool. I like the minimalist. Okay, it says it's done. Oh wait, test issues. Wait, what? Oh, okay. It's like modifying the plan. Okay, fine, whatever. All right, back to Hacker News. Is this what like tech streaming is now? It's just like no, it probably isn't. By the way, I'm just like a shitty streamer. Um, yeah, it's gotta be boring. Like, I want to watch people code, not whatever this shit is that I'm doing. Open source stream processing and management platform. Stream processing. Oh, I see. Interesting. Oh wait, look, it's that one study that had 16 people in it that now tells everybody how to think. Claude Code Unleashed. Oh, that's pricey. Once you adopt a background agent heavy workflow, you'll notice that a lot more time is spent context switching between tasks. You know, I've heard engineers fucking love context switching. We now watch you watch the computer do coding. This is what's happened to our industry. I'm not a fan. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. I mean, we gotta like see what's up. Okay, hey, hello. Oh, okay, it's figuring its life out. You don't need to use the agent for every task. Amen. Yeah, I don't know about this. Yeah, learn to give up. This is a big one. Like, I'm pretty sure I could have done this faster for what it's worth, but I'm doing it this way for you guys. For those sweet, sweet clicks. Anyway, what's on Twitter? Anything interesting? Nope. Nope. Well, no notifications for me at least. What? I follow this? I follow non-aesthetic things. What the fuck? Why unfollow? Would I care about that? I don't want to follow Gary Tan either. Me wondering why my fucking ex is like toxic, and I'm like, I follow an explicitly toxic account. Not Gary Tan, by the way, but oh god. It's actually really funny. Oh no. Oh god. Alright. Okay. Alright. Now we're gonna actually look at some code. Test pass, does that mean I should ship it? The answer is no. Okay. So, probably what we'll be able to do. Well, let's see. I don't know. Let's figure this out first. Excuse me. Let's take a look. What do the tests look like? That's what I want to see next. Okay, so we have, this says with preparation, but there is no preparation. No. I don't like that. You're dumb. We do, okay, so the global preparations block can work, but there needs to be an on option that tells it what action to run on read and generic actions. Okay. Because this actually shouldn't work. This should only be running on read actions. That's a breaking change. No, not Claude. Oh, I'm vibe coding just for you. I hope you all like it. All right. Okay. This test, or this, didn't work. In what is this? What is this file name? Tell me what the hell. Tell me the file name. Generic action test. This is technically a breaking change because the global preparations before only ran on read actions. We need to add on logic, similar to global changes. It should be a wrap list of read or action. I really wish we had decided to call this generic, but it's just too damn late. Wrap list of reader action and default to read. Then, for that test to make sense, it should say on. Let's see. Claude, I think, formats like my input better too. Like when I copy things in, like I feel like it maintains the format in a nicer way. Like this looks kind of bad, whatever that is. But I'm pretty impressed. I think like overall Open Code has done a pretty good job. And there's certain things I like and certain things I don't like. I can't decide. I might like go back to Claude. We'll see. Or I'll just like trust them to figure their shit out. This is cool. I remember seeing this. Terminal weather. Pearl weather. Coffee via SSH. I never actually did that. It seemed like fun though. Man, this is so crazy. Claude for financial services. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I don't. Okay, hold on. I don't even know if I know this guy. Oh, I do. Okay, I didn't know this guy by name, but you want me to watch a video and react to Casey Muratori saying shit? That's what you actually want me to do. What are we? What? Is this really the thing? Hold on.
Please join me in welcoming the one, the only, the irreplaceable.
What's his YouTube channel? Oh, that's your username. I'm so dumb. Can't read. Casey. Sorry. What video are you talking about, Barnabas? So there's a video. There's a new. Oh, there is like a new 2-hour video. You're talking about this one.
Okay. Way too big, Sam. Sam made it way too big. I feel like before we start, we should also thank Sam for putting this together. It's been a very long time since I've been really excited to give a talk, and a lot of that is because the speaker list of this talk of this conference is absolutely amazing, and I don't know. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm excited to give this talk, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So I would like to talk about something that happened in 1998 at a company called Looking Glass, which normally, like back in the day, contemporaneous with this, if I had said Looking Glass, everyone would know who they were, because they were an incredibly influential game company that did a lot of firsts in gaming. One of their games, Ultra Underworld, started kind of the 3D revolution in PC gaming, and they were incredibly like innovative company at the time. And a lot of people today, I mean, there's people in the audience here who weren't even born then, right? So a lot of people today might not know who they were, but they were incredibly important. And one of their games was called Thief: The Dark Project, and it's a franchise that lived on. It was one of the first sort of stealth action games. And it looks pretty primitive by today's standards, obviously, but this was engine contemporaneous with things like Quake, for example. So this was sort of state of the art at the time. Now, I'm not going to talk about graphics because I'm not qualified to talk about graphics anyway. I'm not a graphics guy. What I want to talk about instead is how they modeled entities. And
I have gripes with MCPs. Well, I mean, the main gripe is like, if you think about like, I don't know, for a lot of cases, you don't, like an MCP doesn't really make any sense. Like, LLMs can use curl. They can call APIs. Like, what the fuck do you need an MCP for? Like, now there's some things that it does make sense, right? So I'm not trying to say for everything, but for a lot of things, like, an MCP is not a value add. Like, and MCPs are, like, they already speak JSON schema, like, point them at an API spec. What, like, so, that's my thought. That's the main gripe I have.
In this time frame, right, during the 80s and then later 90s when this game was made, this is the sort of thing that was in vogue in like, the architecture world. This has nothing to do with how they were doing things.
Okay. We'll go back to that video. Okay, so with preparation, yeah, with validation. So this validations thing is also wrong, right? Like validate. Yeah, see, like this shouldn't be running. Like, is it even testing this? Like, how was that? Oh, I'm pressing O inside of this Git view, and that's messing me up. Yeah, so I think Tidewave is actually like the exception to that rule. right? Like tide wave is an example where it's like is connected to, but even like some things, I don't think that the tide wave doc search is necessary because you can do that with a mixed task, right? But I do think that like the eval stuff, like that sort of thing, is really useful. So I do agree. Have I managed to get the Ash AI Dev MCP working though? But I haven't even tried, honestly, because I don't. I'm usually doing like library work, so I don't get a chance. Um, but last time I was working on a Phoenix app, I had it working with Claude Code at least. Um, what? Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is son of a bitch. This is wrong. All right. Yeah, I mean, I put it in the usage rules and stuff like that. Okay, I guess I'll continue on for my other sessions. The logic for running preparations and validations has some issues. One, all preparation is invalid. Well, actually, is this the case? Let me see. Action input. No, this one. Yeah, okay. So all preparations and validations need to go into a single preparations key. It's like queries. Oh, shit. To all action inputs, or all of the preparation needs to happen in for action. See, now we're into the I'm tempted to throw this away because it's not doing a good job phase. But I'll give it a couple more shots. And again, I want to make it clear, this is the sort of thing I said at the outset I probably would not have used an LLM for, but you know. All of the preparation validation logic needs to happen in ash.action input.for action instead of when we run it. Just like ash.query.for read. Okay, see how it goes. See what this guy has to say.
Looking Glass, this is what we would kindly think of as a normal like OOP programming model now, where you have a hierarchy of things. Like there's an entity class, and then you have an NPC and item subclass derived from it.
Do people actually say OOP
that and so on.
when they're talking about object-oriented programming?
That was not something that Looking Glass had ever really used in that lineage of games in their RPGs. And they decided not to go that route, even though that was sort of what was in.
Well, look. This is what rules are for. Just put in your rules. Tell it to use these mixed tasks. That's all it takes.
The kinds of papers that would have been published on software architecture. So they did something very different. What they did is said, look, we want all of our systems to be the primary thing that we're going to think about. We want to think about physics and combat and those sorts of things. The same things that were in our fatty structs. When we do a more serious architecture here, we're going to be doing more architectural work, we want to put things in terms of their system, not in terms of the entity. And so what they did is they came up with a system where they would use an ID, like if I have a particular object that I'm trying to model in the world, one of these entities, I just have an ID for it, and it doesn't really have any data associated with it at all. It's kind of the polar opposite of a fat struct. So they would just say, we're going to use the IDs to represent things, and then the way that we form the entity's data is we just use that ID to look up.
I think it did the wrong thing again. What did it do? Did this add? Oh, interesting. I think it was already actually doing the right thing, maybe. Let me double check. What was still on its list? Okay. Run preparations and validations. That's right. Okay. So now this can be... Well, yeah, I do. Look. I mean, I don't load mix help, but look. Usage rules now adds this. When looking for docs for modules and functions that are dependencies of the current project, and you should also consult the document. This is new in the latest version of usage rules that tells it to use these new usage rules specific docs functions, which if you haven't seen, like hella useful. So that gets included into the usage rules. So it's like gets a lot of examples, and this causes it to use doc search pretty often. Okay, so what was I doing? Action input. So yeah, this I don't think, yeah, see, we don't need, and this should be like this. Well, I'm not usually working on Phoenix apps. Well, sometimes I am, but I would say that like I prefer them to the tools, but I don't really care which one it uses. It doesn't really matter. But I like that I would probably turn, like, this is new stuff, but probably going forward I'll turn off the text doc search tool from Tidewave, because then it can use this task in any project it's in. It doesn't have to like know about, like, it doesn't matter if Tidewave is running or not or whatever. Okay, so on here needs to be, I guess it's already on the list Atom, but that's like not, it's not quite right, but whatever. So now this has action. Okay. So now if we go back to the generic actions test. Yeah. So the thing that doesn't make sense now is that this, or was it? This should not work. I've made some fixes. This shouldn't work, as it should require on action. It's by default validations, global validations only run on create/update actions. It is really interesting. Like, I think this is one of those things like where, I mean, I don't know if this has saved me time or not, realistically. But this, okay, yeah, so okay, now we're getting somewhere. This is doing what I wanted to do. But it also only works because I like intimately understand this stuff. So like this is why I don't see like vibe coding as some sort of like replacement for knowing what the fuck you're doing. Like that just doesn't track for me. Like I don't see it personally. Let's see. How are we doing? Okay. Just running our tests. I need to get rid of that io.inspect, which is fine. Did it get rid of it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so the other thing though is that these tests are not doing really what we want. They're missing an important piece, which is they're using global preparations and validations, but these should also work inside of actions. So I'm just gonna give it that, see what happens. Currently, we are only testing global preparations and validations on generic actions. But I should also be able to do again in the action prepare and validate. Yeah, I agree, Barnabas. I think it's like you hit the wall pretty quick. Like, I mean, it's an interesting question. Here's the thing. Like, yes, I would be faster on my own, but realistically, I would not have. Okay, there's a couple things. I wouldn't have the same level of testing that I'm going to have when I come out of this. I think that's pretty true. Like, I don't think I would have written all of these tests. I would have written a couple tests, you know. And when I'm done, I have this big ass honky context window with all of the stuff from this, and I'm going to tell it to go write some docs, right? So I'm going to tell it to go write a bunch of docs based on everything that we just added, and it's going to get me some docs. And right now, we're not committing these feature plans. But I think in the future, it's very possible that we will actually be committing these plans. So if you look at, like, you know, this note, right, we would start committing this file, or like these artifacts that we built up, which is like decision trees and architecture stuff, like all sorts of really cool stuff that feeds back into LLM context and feeds back into our processes and feeds back into our knowledge base and all sorts of stuff. Like, it's pretty fascinating stuff. Let's see. It doesn't have the same imports as read actions. Okay. Okay, it's starting to figure it out. It found our DSL stuff. Yeah. Beautiful. Good job. Good job, Claude. Open code. I don't know who I think. Probably Claude.
And say, what's the physics like for this thing? What's the combat like for this thing? This fuel system I have, I'm just imagining systems you might have in a game. And in so doing, in 1998, when they shipped Thief, the Dark Project, they shipped, to the best of my knowledge, the first instance of an actually commercially released entity component system. That's what we call it today.
Right.
People call it this. This is now an in vogue architecture, in much the way that those hierarchy kinds of architectures were in vogue at the time, and still to some extent are in today, but not.
Wait, is he going to say that ECS is like a 35-year mistake?
Of anyone shipping this kind of model, and in fact, it's the first time I'm aware of anyone even talking about this kind of model. I'd never heard of it before. This was the first time. And there's
Can't we tell Claude to write tests and docs to the new uncommitted code? Yeah, I mean, that's what it's going to do. I mean, it's already writing a bunch of tests, but
are basically encapsulation boundaries. And this is a very important theme throughout this talk. I just want to really make sure I hammer it home. Encapsulation boundaries are really what we care about when we're doing architecture. What we care about is where we make it difficult to access things and where we make it easy, right? And so what they chose to do that was very different than that sort of inheritance hierarchy model is they chose to draw the encapsulation boundaries around the systems. Now, this is very different because the traditional OOP model, right, is you draw the encapsulation boundaries around the objects. So the encapsulation boundary in a normal OOP-like hierarchy is I have whatever the object is.
I can't get over the fact that he says OOP.
The encapsulation boundary is around all of
Straight
the
up.
things that the mech knows about. But that's very different than this. This is about all of the things that are related to a system, not all the things that are related to a mech. Now, it's important to remember, this is not like not OOP. You could easily call this object-oriented programming. It still obeys a lot of the principles you might recognize from object-oriented programming. So it's not like they were saying, we're getting rid of object-oriented programming. They were saying something very different. And they were saying, effectively, what Mark Blank said, he's the person who actually implemented a lot of the system. And what he said was,
Stop.
for some reason,
Input
OOP has gotten into this
the
mindset of compiled hierarchies that match
validations
the domain
and
model. Meaning,
preparations
if you think about what you're
must
trying to
be
model in
in
the
the
real
same
world, like
list
entities and guards and things like this,
because
or
they
if you
happen
think of like the natural world, we're gonna think about
they happen
birds and are they
in
is
the
it a
stated
mammal or is it
order.
an avian thing, right? You're thinking about this domain model that
See
you're trying to model in the
how
real
the
world, and you're bringing it
query
into the software world. And what he was basically saying is like, why are we pushing this? Why
see
is
how
that
ash.query
behind
does
it,
this.
right? And he says we can still do OOP style stuff, and we can just do it by changing our paradigm of what we're thinking about in terms of our domain model, right? Don't make the domain model be in the code. Make that be something the user experiences, but the code is done in a way that makes sense for the code. So this is really brilliant.
I think
It's
that's
a great way
fair.
to summarize it. It's one of my favorite crystallizations of that concept.
To some degree.
I would only add one thing to it, and that's that word encapsulation. Because I think sometimes people think hierarchy, they just think the relationships. But it's the encapsulation that's really important, because that's what really determines whether or not the code is easy to write or hard to write. It's, are those boundaries in the right place? So this is crucial. And this talk is kind of about mistakes, as you'll see. And I made a mistake one time. I went on this thing, you may have seen it, it's called the internet. It's like the series of tubes that connects people around the world, and it's kind of complicated, not 100%.
Did this guy straight up deliver a fucking 2-hour talk?
Where what you can do is there's
Is
like
that
a
the thing?
box, and you can type
Oh,
anything
okay.
you want into the box. It doesn't have to be correct. It, could be, it doesn't have to be coherent. It certainly doesn't have to be polite. And then you have to push this button. There's usually a button next to it, but the button says different things sometimes. You push the button, and everyone in the world has to read it. Like, everybody. And that's an amazing invention. I was probably doing something like that at the time when I saw some people talking.
All right, I'll do it
having a
myself.
discussion
What's
about
going on
this
here?
sort of thing. Discussion in quotes, let's say. And they were thinking about this. They were thinking about, we had old things that were like maybe not quite architecture like those fatty structs things. And at some point, people started saying, there's this other architecture we could do, which is this hierarchy thing, and that's like much cleaner. It's much better organized. It's better architecture, and they started to push this, right? And it definitely got adopted. Got adopted everywhere. And it's a very standard paradigm even to this day. And they were sort of responding to people who were saying this is bad, that this hierarchical thing is not a good idea. The encapsulation boundaries are in the wrong place, as I would say. And they're saying, okay, there's no way that all of these smart people who pushed this stuff and who created this, there's no way they could possibly be wrong about it, right? Like, surely this comes from all kinds of like academic studies and ways of looking at things, and we definitely have great examples of this working perfectly, I'm sure, and it all got translated to us, and you guys just don't understand, and we don't understand either because we're not really sure what we're saying, but we're basically saying that someone must have known, and those people were smart, so there you go, right?
Word.
So could you really be saying, all you naysayers, that it doesn't make sense, it didn't come from a logical place? And so the short answer to that is absolutely that's what we're saying. That's 100% what we're saying. And the long answer to this is the rest of this talk. Welcome to the Better Software Conference, the inaugural Better Software Conference. This is the Big Oops, which is my sort of attempt to go back over 35 years of history to
That's a pretty interesting idea.
figure out where we went wrong. Like, how did this happen?
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Okay. Now, just get some things out of the way first. And this is mostly for the people. I don't know where I'm looking. Is there a camera out there? This is mostly for the people. The people in this room are probably already bought in, right? Low-level programming, that sort of thing. You're probably like, okay, I like where this is going. People on the internet, as I said before, maybe that was a mistake, but they're going to have some issues with this, some bones to pick.
All right, open code. All right, open code. All right, Claude.
Anatomy of a 35
You're done.
mistake. I'm not
Got us close.
talking about OOP as a whole. I'm talking about looking for
Let's see
very
what's up.
specific things in it, okay?
Do it ourselves.
And because whenever you talk about OOP, it's always this thing where people are like, well, whatever you're talking about, like, that's not really OOP. Like, you're talking about the things, you're using the terminology wrong, or that's not how I write code. It's like OOP is just a thing where it's like, it's how I like to write code. And whatever they're thinking at the time, that's what OOP is or something. And I don't necessarily blame them because it's a nebulous term and they have their own definition for it. I mean, I probably have my own definition for it. That's totally fair, right? But I just want to say we're not going to be dealing with any of that here. So I don't want to hear the whole, like, I don't know. It's sort of like wine, which I got the slide up in here. It's like, if you have like a designated origin, you're not allowed to call it certain things, and it's like it's that kind of feel, right? It's not actually OOP, it's sparkling code or something like this. You have to use the right term for it. So I just want to be clear.
Okay.
I'm talking about something very specific, and something that I
okay.
just said, very, very specific. And I'm not saying it was a mistake. I'm saying this was a mistake. The idea that you're going to draw encapsulation boundaries around these compile time hierarchies that are based off of whatever you're trying to write. Now, second thing we want to get clear is I don't want to hear any complaints that no one ever pushed this model, because I know that's going to happen. I'm looking at you, Y Combinator. I know that this is going to be a threat. So, anticipating that, let's just say we have a lot of historical evidence. When I was doing the research for this talk, I read so many things from the historical
Right.
record. It is so obvious that everyone actually 100% meant you should look at the domain model and you should code that directly into compiled hierarchy. For example, here is literally Bjarne Strustrup's paper, What is Object-Oriented Programming? To tell you what it is. And he starts off with a shape example.
I mean, this is interesting because, like,
well, that's totally ridiculous. You're just
you could use this as our ammunition to argue against Ash, but like,
trying to explain this and sell this to people in his industry.
but
who are
also
experts.
it's complicated.
Says,
It's not the same
we're gonna
thing.
Write something like this that has kind k as an enumerant there of like what the kinds of shapes are, right? If we're going to write something like this, we end up with code that has a switch statement in it. So when we want to draw something, we have to say, oh, what is this? And I have to say, okay, case circle, case triangle, and have the different drawings for that. And he's like, this is a mess. You can never do something like that. Instead, what you want to do is make a hierarchy where it matches the domain model. I've got a
Yeah,
shape
see, like,
class,
we don't
and then you
do
can
that
define
sort of
a
thing.
class, and it's a virtual function and all those sorts of things. This
We're
is
just
right in the
declarative,
first
like,
paper
action
people are
modeling, which I
selling
think
this
makes perfect
concept in
sense.
certain programming languages, right? And
Okay,
I
so
guess I should
with
also point
mixed
out that he says
preparations,
things like,
validations.
when we're talking about object-oriented programming, literally what we're talking about is inheritance hierarchies with virtual function calls. Like, he says that. And he says object-oriented programming is programming using inheritance. So hammering home that this is literally what we are talking about. There's so much evidence, and I'm just picking one paper. Now, a lot of people will talk about, say, Alan Kay, because he was a big father of object-oriented programming. He's the one who coined the term, as far as anyone knows. And he talks about, this sort of idea that
This says
only
prepare and
needs
validate.
messaging
Okay,
and a few
so
other things, right? He said this. And so some people might be like, well, that's what object-oriented programming was really about. No one was ever pushing it. And Bjarne Strustrup, okay, whatever, C++ is terrible. Like, don't listen to that guy, right? Despite the fact that he made the language that's like one of the most prevalent. It's the one that we all use mostly, or at least have for the past 20 years. And so this is the truth. This is the actual truth here. It's like, yeah, he said that in 2003, right? He said that after a very long time. So why did he say it? It's because 10 years earlier, he was already saying he kind of soured on it. He's like, inheritance was like really powerful, but people just didn't know how to use it. Novices and experts apparently both couldn't use it, right? It was just, it's really good, but no one can figure out how to use it, I guess. So that's a little bit weird. I don't know. Maybe Alan Kay, he still comments on stuff. Maybe he'll come to tell us what he actually was trying to say there exactly. But if you go back earlier to small,
this has a
if you go back, look at what they were
preparation,
talking about,
validation,
the time
validation. So what's the
before they had a
problem?
chance to reflect and say that it didn't work. Well, here's what they were saying. Inheritance programming shows the power of differential description, right? They're like, you can take an object.
All right, maybe I should
can
actually
say,
read
like,
the
I'm gonna
test.
start with completely undifferentiated object, and then I'm going to draw
So,
a rectangle. I'm going to
with
drive.
mixed.
And in fact, here's a diagram from one of his articles talking about like cool things in computer architecture. He's like, we can have.
Okay, I need to think. Shut up, guy. We are on 696. So we're saying that passing in the text test value should be final result action prep test value. So first we're going to get the text argument and we're going to add action prep underscore. And then we're going to validate that it contains test, and then we're going to put final result. So let's take a look. But instead, what are we getting? Oh, nothing was raised. That doesn't make sense. It's just wrong. Look, it's just confirming that it contains test. Must contain test. So this is just wrong. The test is wrong. Hilarious. All right. All right, let's see if the other ones are wrong the same way. It's going all right, Chaz. Can I make YouTube a bit louder? Oh, yeah.
A generic object, and then we can drive from that a rectangle, and we'll drive a window, and a pane window, and a browser. Look, everyone is talking about literally representing in the hierarchy what your domain model is. That's what they're talking about. And if you need further proof, look at what's actually in Smalltalk. We have all the data, like for this, all of the papers exist. Here is an example from the art and science.
Okay, you wanted a strong reaction or whatever. Like, so here's my reaction to this. Like, he's saying like, well, I mean, we're gonna see where he actually gets to this, which is like, okay, you could disconnect your software from its like underlying domain model, which is like true and not true depending on your perspective, right? And so what I'm getting at here is like, if your domain model is this like esoteric concept of what your app does, like from some perspective on the outside, right? Then yes, he's right. Like you should not encode your internal structures to match that particular thing. But like all that really means is you have this like reductive domain model. Like you have this domain model that does not include the actual like complexities and mechanisms of the thing that you're actually building, right? And the interface, like I think for me, like modeling a domain is uh includes like the real actual problems in said domain. So like two-phase commits, like you don't just have, for instance, if you have like a financial tool that has two-phase commits, you don't, your domain model isn't create a transaction, or like where that's not the entry point that then creates a transaction, right? Your domain model is like, you know, create a pending transaction, which creates a pending transaction, and then you confirm a transaction later. Like that is the domain that you're modeling. And ultimately, like with Ash, like we generate a bunch of stuff off the interfaces from our actual domain model. And but we aren't generating it from like this weird, I don't know how to like say it really, but we aren't generating it off of like this like fucking weird hierarchical object representation structure of shapes or whatever, like, which I don't know, maybe this matters more if you're like making video games or something. I don't know, we don't have those same problems. But we aren't generating it. We just, I don't know, we just aren't doing whatever the hell it is that he's talking about here with like OOP. Like we are modeling our interfaces, like our interface is our domain like 9 times out of 10. And then when we can, we're connecting those things to the data under the hood, like when it makes sense, but with a shifting layer. Like the data layer itself allows you to like, you know, not map one-to-one actions to storage and stuff like that. And I think like, I don't know, a lot of like pragmatic software engineering is just like not dealing with this kind of shit. I don't know, like it's not that complicated, I guess. But I maybe I get what he's saying. At least I argue against the same kind of software he's talking about building. But if he's gonna like go on to then say like, I don't know, domain modeling or something is bad, it's like yes and no. I don't know.
We couldn't
We'll see.
fit it on the diagram. We had so many classes we were inheriting here, right? And guess what? If you liked the shape example that keeps coming up, that everyone says, well, no one would ever actually suggest that you use this sort of ridiculous shape example. You know, you're just cherry picking, except it exists absolutely everywhere. It's in Smalltalk. There it is. They have a path class, and from that path class, they have different shapes derived from it. That's what the path looks like. That's in the base language of Smalltalk that Alan Kay and Robson shipped, and Adele Goldberg was the person who documented it. These are the original authors of Smalltalk, right? And if you don't want to take my word for all of that, you can take Bjarne's word for it. He criticizes Smalltalk for being all about inheritance, that's all it was, and you had to actually use it to get anything done in that language, right? And he's actually saying C++ at least doesn't make you do it that way. You only have to do it that way when you think it's a good idea, right? Which, by the way, I agree with him on that. That's why I'm still able to use C++ to this day, is because Bjarne Stroustrup was actually really smart about a lot of things, and he didn't try to force you to do things only his way, whereas Smalltalk kind of did.
Amen to that. Like,
all right. So now that we've got that,
I don't like that there's one right way to do everything mentality.
This guy right
personally,
here, who has caused me so much pain. You know, I won't even go into it. Anyway, let's talk about the origin story. So we'll start with C++, because obviously that's the most impactful language that really promulgated this inheritance hierarchy concept out to the world in a way that we all kind of experienced. Not only in programming C++, but obviously languages like Java, which are incredibly prevalent in not exactly
so
our circles maybe,
what's
but
happening
obviously in business world and that sort of
we're
thing.
saying we're going to get back.
It's not even just C++. It's like the
it's just getting final result test value. So that's not right.
This came from. So let's start in 1978 and looking at that. And Bjarne Stroustrup is actually in the, he's in university at this point. He hasn't actually gotten to Bell Laboratories where he would do the later work on C++. So he is working on his PhD.
Am I a fallen dev if I automatically reject the plus way?
Here, I really want to try and
I mean,
a mindset of
no,
what thinking as far as I could.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I don't know. I get it. Like, also, this is actually comes back to kind of an interesting question about like, would I use Ash if somebody else made it, right? Which is like, and I think that like. I don't know I don't know the answer to that question. I can't say like without a doubt that I would use Ash if somebody else made it. Like, I don't know, but I knew like the problems I was solving, and I knew how
how I wanted to fix them, and it looks like Ash, right, at the end of the day. But also, like, I am a framework builder. Like, I think there's a type of person who wants to build abstractions, and there's a type of person who wants to build products and tools and stuff. And so I don't know. I couldn't really say. If something like Ash existed for Elixir, I probably would have just used it, honestly, because I want to get shit done. But I don't know. But the interesting thing about we have to remember, like, if there's one thing, the only thing more valuable, like, or the most valuable thing when building applications, especially in like team settings, is consistency, right? Is doing things roughly the same way in all of the places that you do them. That, because like that, the programming and software engineering is a mental game of like context and skill and understanding and all these other things, right? So if I have to go from like one element of our system that looks like this and then like hop over to this other element, and it's written in a fully different style with fully different tools and everything like that, right? That's so expensive, like, mentally. That's, wait, y'all are saying like rip. Did I just like fucking, oh wait, am I gone? You guys not see me? What happened?
Yeah! First of all,
What the hell? Oh wait, am I? Oh, so we're good. We're back. Cool. All right. I don't know what the hell happened. Okay. Anyway, that's enough ranting. Let's actually get some shit done. So we got to figure out why this action is doing what it's doing. It's like not putting action prep before. Oh, interesting. We're like not running. This preparation just straight up isn't getting run. Okay, so let's see. Is this how queries do it? It's so confusing. Why do we do it this way? Changes run where the at least I'm like 90% sure that if we go to change set, yeah, the action changes run before. So like now it's like global preparations happen before. I don't even know. We're just gonna have to live with it. I'm gonna make a note in here that in 4.0 we're gonna switch the order of these. We can't just like swap this, unfortunately, but. Okay. Anyway. So the question is, why is it not running this preparation? Ah, here we go. Okay, I see what's going on. This is not how we do, like, we don't need this. Okay, so now in resource info, Jump to the thing I see on screen and quickly understand what is happening instead of jumping around collecting info. Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. I'd have to watch more of this video to see what he's actually talking about, but I do like, I mean, I wouldn't ever build like an inheritance oriented system no matter what. So and I think we can kind of argue against those things separately, like domain modeling and or embedding your domain model into your application. We can argue against that separately from arguing against inheritance as a method, and like object orientation for encapsulation and stuff like that. Like those don't have to be the same thing. You can have a functional domain model and an immutable domain model, etc. Yeah. Okay, so def preparations. Yeah, it depends. That's what it is, isn't it? I guess I don't need this. Okay. I think that should fix this. All right.
Get it
I
from
mean,
their writings, right?
So far I'm liking what he's saying in general, but I don't I'm liking what he's saying in general, but I got to see where he's going with it.
primary sources for this, and I tried to figure out what were these people feeling, like what were they doing when they were coding. And so he is actually working on distributed systems. He's not a languages guy. He's not there like researching languages or anything like that. He's working on distributed systems, and what he wants to know is, look, we've got some stuff where we want to know about hardware protection, like, if you kind of think of virtual memory or things like that, where you have hardware features that are designed to protect different parts of your program from other different parts of your program, or different processes from each other, or different nodes in a system, all those sorts of things. So he's doing distributed architecture work. And what he wants to do is run simulations, because at the time, again, putting you in the mindset of where we are in computer history, you don't just have computers lying around like we do today, right? It's not like, oh, I can just buy a bunch of computers and set up a network and do testing on it. It's like, no. There's no way he was going to get things like a distributed multiprocessor system just play around on in 1978 unless he was extremely important and working for the military or something.
What is my
right?
favorite programming book?
So what he had to do was write a simulator.
It's a good question.
And what he decided to do was write a simulator because earlier in his career, he'd been in university, I guess earlier in his education, I should say. He had been at university and he learned...
honestly, I don't really read programming books very often.
Creators of Simula. He learned the language Simula directly from one of its authors.
Obvious answer.
He was
I bet
actually
you could
there
guess
at
it
the
before
time when
I
the author was also there, and this was how he knew what Simula was and how to use it. And so what he did was he wrote a simulator for distributed systems in Simula.
I'll let you guys guess.
Kind of
What do you think
exactly
my
what it's
favorite
designed for,
programming
right?
book
It's a
is?
simulation language. And he had a great time doing it. He was like, this was so much better than what I'm used to. I really liked the experience of writing that. So he ended up with this thing where he had like little programs that were simulating what was happening in a distributed network, or distributed system, I should say, not necessarily on a network. And he found that it was really easy to debug the little programs by themselves, and the language made it really easy to do that. Now, again, it's important to remember keeping all this in your head if you can. I know it's a lot. It was a lot of reading, right? So I'm trying to convey it to you in as close as possible. Just pointing out, it's important to remember that that's the domain model he was working with, is lots of little programs that were talking to each other, right? So anyway, he says that the class concept...
Okay, no,
not
my own book.
The same sort of idea of a class as C++ would ever
God,
have.
what do you guys think of me?
He said that class concept that Simula had was really good for direct mapping, right? Remember I said
nobody's gonna guess it, all right.
hierarchy that exactly models the domain, right? He said that was working really well when he was implementing. He was just saying, oh,
there it
is
is.
the thing I'm trying to simulate, and so I'm literally going to create classes.
I actually don't. So,
and that was working. Really well.
Sasha is a very close friend of mine. As close as you can be with somebody who lives in Croatia while I live in the United States. But we see each other all the time at conferences. He's such a great guy. Honestly, I've had so many amazing conversations with him. He's one of the few people. He's one of the few people that regularly changes my mind on things. I'm like looking at my camera over here, but you guys are over here. Sorry, whatever. He's one of the few people that regularly changes my mind on things, actually. And I don't know. I just always it's always such a great time.
So I'm gonna see him at Goatmeyer, and I'm gonna get him to sign my copy of his book. So that's exciting. I lost my original copy. I had to buy another one. I don't know where my old one went, but I got a new one with the third edition, which is nice. But yeah. Oh, that's cool, Ken. That's really cool. He's a really good guy. A lot of fun. He brings me Croatian cigarettes when I go to conferences. Oh man. Okay. Okay. I'm 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 a little bored honestly on this talk. Mostly, I mean, not it's not his fault, but like I'm not.
So
He doesn't need to convince me against object oriented programming. Like yeah, they were solving different problems back then. Where are we going with it? I guess this is a history lesson, so I don't know. What are we looking for, folks? I'm gonna leave it. It seems fun, but I don't have 2 hours for it. Somebody responded to me here. Oh. Oh, how's my thing doing? £6, y'all. Famous. You don't know what time Goatmeyer starts? Hey, anybody who's listening, if you're going to Goatmeyer, you should stay until Saturday. I can't tell you why yet, but you should be there on Saturday. Um, if you have it all possible, you should be in Varberg on Saturday. An announcement is coming soon. Yeah, I guess we don't say it doesn't say on the website like what time it is. I don't know, man. It's a conference. It starts at like 9 or something or 8. Maybe 10. Somewhere from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Ken Straffern. I don't know how to say your name. Are you staying till Saturday? Yes or no? All right, y'all. All right. So it's time for us now to like properly review this code because we've got all the tests passing and it looks to be doing what we want. I like the tests. Um, um, good, good. You're gonna want to be there on Saturday. Okay, so we're gonna start with the test here. We have an action with a preparation. This is with a global preparation and with a global validation. No, I was saying I don't know how to say Straffern's name. I know how to say Ken. Come on, I can read. I mean, I don't know how to say your last name, but that's a different story. So with life cycle hooks, that's an interesting one. With life cycle hooks, is that what it's doing? Okay, that's fine. It's doing its own. A weird way to test that, but it doesn't really matter. With before action validation, with notifications. Wait, what? Oh, this is oh, right. Forgot you could do that. You can do that? Hold on. How does it how does it know the difference between these? Yeah, that's okay.
So that's wrong. Give me implementation spec. This one is not a thing. Nice. I nailed it. Proud of myself. All right, so back into the world of things. It's returning okay result notification. That's actually pretty cool. I forgot you could do that. It's, let's see, with action preparation. Yep. With action validation. Cool. With mixed preparations, validations. Beautiful. It lets you run all of these with policies. That's fine. Preparations on generic actions. So now we're going to run the one with preparation and assume that it, or assert that it, you know, upcased, modifies the input before execution. This is the same test. We also want this. We want it to we want it to like preparation should run, you know, immediately, like on when you call for action. That's when preparations run. So we should test that the argument's been modified properly. Okay. How long have we been streaming? This is like one of the longer streams I've done. In like what, 2 hours, 3 hours? Validations are conditional based on action name. Oh, you know what we need to check? I'm gonna make the robot do this. Actually, I'm gonna hold off on this. I'm gonna make a follow-up for this, which is we want to check that that validations conditions work on preparations and validations in action inputs. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. So before action hooks can modify input, after action hooks can modify the result, right? So it's adding enhanced, modified, boop, boop, boop. Here we go. Modified world, processed. Yeah. After action hooks can add errors. Yep. Before action hooks can return notifications. Yep. This is saying that it can return notifications, but it's not actually asserting that the notification was received. But it doesn't really matter because we know that's like separate testing on the generic action. That was always there. That's already tested. Multiple before action hooks run in order. Multiple after. Okay, it's a nice test. Full life cycle integration on generic actions. Sure. I mean, these are a little bit aggressive, but they're useful tests. Yeah, I mean, these aren't testing the actual receipt of notifications, but that's fine. Action level preparations and validations. Error handling and generic actions with lifecycle. I don't like that it's raising a runtime error there. Let's fix that. We have this new thing that we should use. So what we do is we do f run. What is this one? It takes module input or module. I changed this thing where my cursor always stays in the center. And I don't think I like that. I think I want to fix that later and not have that be true because it's kind of annoying when I'm trying to work like on a slightly bigger context. Okay, so module action input ops fixed. So we have this new thing, behavior helpers. So we want to require it. And we do this. But this will give us like a really nice error. So now needs to return one of these. So we just are going to pattern match. This is like a macro error. Okay, so this ought to. So now that test should fail because it's not returning a runtime error. It should be raising like a. I forget what it raises. It raises a nicer error. We'll see what it does. But still a runtime error. Should be invalid return type. Oh, I'm dumb. I gotta actually use that in here. Run. Run. Okay. Run. There we go. So this will be ash dot this thing. Run module input run ops. Okay, now we should get a better error. You guys don't know, when I stream, I start to accumulate notifications on Discord, on Slack, on email. What? How did that not? What? Oh, these are on the before action and after action hooks, so I need to add those there. This is actually a little bit more complicated. We're gonna leave that how it is. There's reasons. Can't do anything about it. Okay, these tests all look right to me. So now we gotta look at the implementation, which is actually like not that much. I could have done this faster myself, but that's okay. We got to test out our tools. I don't think we need this one change there. We have it all in generic actions test. Okay, yeah, so change set query or input, that's good. This looks right. Now in validation, we say, yep, could be on a create, update, destroy, read, or action. The context of delete, to say this delete, read, or generic actions. Delete? What am I thinking? Destroy. can put usage rules. No, I'm not gonna leave usage rules in. For now. Okay, so we already reviewed these tests, so that's good. Okay, so preparation.ex now has an on, which defaults to read. A nice, yep, that prepare function. Yep. Takes a query or an input. By default, only supports hash.query. That's good. Yep. That all looks good. So function now takes, yep, says I support both. Beautiful. When asking for global preparations, we now default to only asking for reads, but we can also ask for generic actions. In the resource DSL, oh, we've just moved action. Okay, I don't know why we did that. But we've added preparations. We've imported preparation and validation built-ins. Makes sense. Implementation, we have a nice error there. We fix a type spec there. That looks good. So now these can have preparations and skip global validations. That makes sense. Yep. And okay, looks good. Comment on 4.0. If input.valid. Yeah, that looks right. So now we have these hooks. Case, okay, so this is good. Case run with hooks. Yeah, that makes sense. Run with hooks. And then we're going to call this new run function. Yep. So run with hooks now is going to run the before action hooks. Oh, I don't like this. What is it returning? Okay, that's fine. I guess you can return error from the hooks. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Now we have all of the logic in here. We've typed before action hooks. Term isn't quite. Oh, T term. Yeah, okay. That's context. Before action, or no, that's the result itself. Okay. This looks good. Run preparation validations, that makes sense. Add a before action hook to the action input. Yep. With examples and docs. How nice of them. We need to remember to update docs that say that generic actions don't have a life cycle and don't support validations and preparations. I believe the action lifecycle docs say that. Okay. Good docs. These look nice. After action and input result. Yep. I don't know. Fine, I can leave the notifications in there. On preparation and validations. What is it saying for the type in these tracers? Validate. Yeah, okay, that actually makes sense. Yeah. Okay. This is all pretty boilerplate code. I know it's from it's copied over from ash.query. So that's good. I recognize all this. Yeah, okay. I should make this use the proper error type, but it's not a big deal right now. Okay, let's make sure we've got our docs updated. Okay, so this all looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna commit it. Not these things, but I will commit this. Support, validations, preparations on generic actions. Support or add an action life cycle. Generic actions. I'm gonna say add before after action hooks. Okay, so now we need to update. We need to do some of this stuff. Which is what did I took some notes. What did I say? We want to review the type specs of preparations. Okay, that makes sense. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm sleepy. We're nearing the end. God, see, stupid. This is the one thing that OpenCode does that I don't like. It doesn't let you queue up a message. It just stop. And I also like can't select this text. They're like a, yeah, I don't know. Okay, stop it. My escape button is not working either. Frustrating. What the hell? Oh, here we go. Now I can interrupt at least. Right? I can't. OpenCode, what are you doing? See that, guys? Not cool. Does it stay working in the background if I leave? What? So I can't interrupt it, and it continues working. There's like literally nothing I could do. I mean, I could like go kill a process or something, but can I like stop? That's crazy, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Oh. Still says it's working. That's crazy, y'all. But is it still working? Is it like still doing shit? Oh my god, whoa. I don't know what that was. is this like some kind of Zelaj thing? I like. Okay, well, it's fine. It's about to be done. It looks like. I think probably. Right. What a wacky ass world, y'all. Oh my gosh, what's happening? What the fuck? This is just me scrolling down, I guess. This is like a long conversation. I don't know. How do I get to the end? All right. Well, this open code was doing really good all day, but this is weird. Whatever the hell this is. Not a fan. Let's see. Is it just gonna do the same thing? Yeah. All right. Well. I probably did something wrong. It's fine. I don't care. I'm just gonna go back to Claude and have Claude finish this up. Which is this? Okay. Well, actually, let me double check. Did we break anything? Machines are talking to each other and obfuscating it so we don't catch on. Yeah, I don't even know what the hell happens. When you vibe too hard, this is where you get. Okay. I think this is all gonna work fine. And then we just need to update the docs. Wait. Okay, my scratch buffer is different. I wonder why that is. Whatever. I know what I want to tell it to do, so. Okay, well first, we're gonna update this. We're gonna amend the last commit to contain this, and then I'm gonna say, read our previous commit, and update the docs accordingly. Keep in mind that some docs will express, including the action lifecycle chart, that generic actions do not support validations / preparations. Also update add user rules. I found it actually to be like quite good at updating docs. Like you can't just like, you know, it's not like fire and forget, but it finds like relevant stuff with words, you know, using like grep basic shit, and it proposes like pretty good changes to docs. All right. Let's see. I have another. Where's my other tab open? It has. Oh, yeah, I was checking. I could check and see if my. Did I get more updates? Nope. Not front page material, boys. It's the nature of it. the new trend, I guess. I lost my OBS chat. Where did it go? Okay. So, generic actions are left out because they currently do not support hooks of any kind, but generic actions support validations, preparations, and hooks, but do not support transaction level hooks like before transaction, after transaction. Yeah. That looks weird, right? I think that's just a weird line wrapping problem. Yeah, here it is. So, generic actions support validations, preparations, and action hooks. Do not support transaction level hooks before transaction, after transaction, around transaction. Can run in transactions by setting transaction true. Focus on custom business logic. Okay, sure, whatever. That's fine. You can append to your Claude commands in Claude, as far as I know. No, I mean you can just like I can just say like fix, and then I just like keep typing, and that just goes into the prompt also, as far as I know. I think, yeah, I think open code might be close, but I don't think it's quite there. I had like that weird stuff at the end really threw me off. Not being able to queue up a message. So, but I want open code to win, and I think they will. Personally, like, and I love that they're not model specific. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. Why is it turning so? Oh, there we go. It was just frozen. All right. So, global preference. Yep. I haven't tried those models. I have so many emails. Oh yeah, I gotta pay attention. Action preparation. See, for docs, this is the other thing too. Like, when I'm doing like public visible changes like this, I want to review like literally everything in order that it's trying to make. And I found it's a good workflow, but I forgot that I wasn't like vibing. Um, let's see, like the open code diffs looked a lot better with the split diff and the centered thing. I think it's pretty nice. But now Claude is doing some weird bug where unless I press a button, it doesn't know that, whatever. Create, update, destroy, action level preparations, read, query, generic, global, resource level preparation. Yep. Yeah. That's true. Okay. Oh, that's a big one. All right. So we're adding sections. Yeah. As of Ash 3.6, generic action support validations and preparations. Is that right? Uh, don't include the bit about when it was introduced. We don't, but that's fine. Good. It's like in that version stocks. That's how people know. A big chunky PR to review today, and I forgot about it. Oh, you know what I also forgot? I also forgot that we need to make the built-in preparations and validations support action inputs. What built-in preparations do we have? There can't be that many. Later. Thanks for hanging out, Strafford. It's kind of a weird way to phrase that part better than it was. This actually doesn't work, but we're going to make it work. Should maybe not clear my throat into the mic. Get that high fidelity, fancy audio throat clearing. A weird, but that would require significant mermaid diagram changes to properly include generic actions. Like, we'll make significant changes then. What are you doing? I don't think I like this vibe coding. I mean, look, I don't really use it this way normally. Like for framework features, I would just handwrite them. It's been a good exercise. I think it's taken 30-40 minutes longer to vibe code it, but there's also a lot of like really nice aspects. Whoa. I'll just accept these and see what it looks like. There's a lot of nice aspects to it. Like, I don't think I would have been able to make these level of high quality docs changes, but what I typically do, and this is what I did last time on the last stream, is I just hand coded the feature, and then I said, okay, go write docs and tests. That was a really nice experience, but this has been kind of bleh. All right, let's take a look at the docs. This seems duplicated. Let's take a look at this. This is in so these can be combined. This HUD after action. We don't need, what is this other one? This RG after action. So we're going to replace RG after action with and then RG around action. Oh no, wait. Oh, that mistakes. Yeah. And then error handling also doesn't need to be. This can just be HUD error handle. What? Oh, you know what I realized? After action and around action doesn't. Oh, these are weird. Let me go back to what I had here. Because these are actually two separate branches now that I think about it. But the difference is that there's no around action for query / generic. So let's see. Right? Because query. Wait, no. Yeah, there are no around actions for queries. So that's just wrong in the docs. You're saying like the existing docs that I did got bad stuff because I mentioned around. This is what I'm working on right now, but not there. I don't see that anywhere else. The around actions here are in the other actions, I think so. Oh, so there's around transaction hooks for queries. I was wrong. I need to stop fucking with stuff here. We just don't need a round action fun. But yeah, so there is no around action though. That's true. We have a round transaction. I don't remember doing this at all. It's so strange. We have a round. Why do we have a round transaction? When did this happen? A year ago? But we have no around action. But whatever. It's fine. Y'all, this is a little bit bigger of a thing to bite off than I thought it was going to be, but it's okay. Later, Ken. All right, so let's see. Does this look right without a round action? Oh, shit. RG before action. Yeah, so now the RG preparations validations this we need to have a this needs to point to something like this. Where's RG before action? RG global prep is pointing to RG before action. Did I remove? So RG, oh. Oh, nothing points to RG before action? What? There we go. So, and then we're going to need RG after action. Needs to point to HUD success. Yeah, I think. No. HUD. Oh, transaction commit. Oh, this is stupid. Why is transaction rollback on the six? I guess actually. Okay. Wait, after action. No. That's not right. Success, yes, is pointing to transaction commit. That's not right. RG success points to after action, and then RG after action needs to point to trans commit. Okay. Did we do it this time for real? Yep. But not available. This is not true on after or on around transaction. Ugh. Around transaction is available for generic, is just not available for generic actions. Right? That's what this is. This is around end, which is just not available for generic actions. We really got to clean this shit up so that like all of these lifecycle hooks are available on all of them. Oh, we have one more. Actions, preparation, validation. Okay, so this is RG action prep. All right, that looks good. Okay. That was tough. Generic actions now. Yep. Okay, so we already reviewed all this stuff. So I cleaned that up a bit. Okay, let's make sure the checks pass. And then we're going to have one more final thing. Which is to make validations and preparations support generic actions. And then we're done. What a push. I did not think it was going to be so tough. And in fact, I got to decide. I think I'm not going to do this part. I'm not going to do this last part on stream. Because I got to go to the bathroom. And I got to do other stuff with my life. All right, folks. Look, this was a big one. This was a really big quality of life improvement for generic actions. We now have lifecycle hooks and validations and preparations on generic actions. That's like really powerful stuff, honestly. Like it's really wild. Really useful. I'm glad that we have it. It's been a long time coming. Yeah, this was fun. Thanks for joining in. Smash that like and subscribe. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. All right, folks.